Step 1, fill pot with water. That's probably about a three gallon pot, I would have to say. Fill it up about halfway. Purchase some chicken thighs. Just have a lot of fat in them, make a good soup. Celery, carrots, and there's a white onion. For a batch this big, I use 2 white onions. Next step is to get some chicken and put it on the stove in that pot over there. So you gotta open it. This is a big pot, so I'm gonna guess we should probably throw like 5 or 6 chicken thighs in here. I probably got a little too much water in the pot. It's gonna take a while to boil. But it's a cold day, and to make soup on a cold day sort of can heat up the house. So, well, what is that? 4 things of chicken. Let's go. Yeah, let's do it up. Let's go with 5 chicken thighs. 5 chicken thighs should be good. And we'll heat those up. Alright, you can see the water has come to a boil. And I put a lid on it so, you know, it can get hotter faster. And you can see that the chicken is sort of like floating around. Make sure it does that, doesn't stick to the bottom. And then you just boil it for, well, I like to boil it a long time because 1, it adds humidity to the house, and 2, it adds heat to the house, and probably most importantly, you gotta get the oils out of the bone into the liquid so that you can have a tasty broth. So you just boil the heck out of it. Oh, one more ingredient that I failed to mention last time are noodles. And I'm using orzo. It sort of looks like rice, but it's just like a regular noodle. With the actual taste of it, it just doesn't fall apart in the soup after you reheat it a number of times. You can use any kind of noodle. Egg noodle I would use. And that would be poured in, and I'll show that part later. Alright, well, the chicken is in the pot on the stove. We might as well go ahead and cut up some celery. How much celery? Well, that depends on how much you want. But I'm going to chop this all up. A whole big chunk of it. That's all going in the soup. I'll show you how I do it. First, you got to rinse it. Because you never know who was picking this stuff. And you're making a mess. So make sure you rinse it good. Alright, thoroughly rinsed and on the cutting board. Let's see if I can get an angle here. Oh yeah, that'll work. There we go. Alright, now I'm going to show you how to chop this stuff up. Use a knife. I like a big knife like this. So I do it. And I just grab the whole thing and cut it up like this. That part I don't keep. Junk. And voila, celery. Next thing to do is rinse the carrots and scrub them up. I use a washcloth. Like I said, you never know what germs are on them. And that's 2 pounds of carrots I'm going to dice up and put into the soup. 2 pounds. Alright, now it's time to cut the carrots up. Oh. That goes into the garbage. Well, since these are small carrots, I can do it like this. But some of those big carrots you have to slice in half. I'll show you that in a second. Cut them the long way. Not only do you get a flat edge for cutting, but you get a smaller size carrot and you can go a lot faster. I think you get that. Cut up the rest of the carrots. Put them in the bowl with some celery you cut up. And then the last thing we gotta do are the onions. Alright, now it's time to move on to the onion. After cutting up the carrots, I just put the celery and the carrots in the I don't know, in our little bowl while the chicken is still on the stove boiling. Just so you're more efficient and don't waste time. The next thing to do is chop up some big old white onions. So you can see the size of them. Pretty good size. Oh, I forgot. I always put a little instant bouillon in there too, just to give the chicken soup more chicken flavor. But I don't use much, but it's everyone's preference. So let's go ahead and cut up an onion. Nice big one. What I do is I cut off the sides, the top end and the bottom end. Run a slit down one of the sides like that, and peel it. Peel the skin right off. I like to go down a level. Get all this papery part of the onion into the trash so it doesn't end up in the soup. Cut it in half. Cut it in half gives you a flat edge so it can't get away from you. Slice it up this way. I line them all back up. They're flat, and I cut them this way to make them small chunks. And do that with 2 big onions. Put it in the pot with the carrots and the celery that we did before. And then we're on our way to getting her done. So onion and half to go, put it all in there. Okay, there's the pot of the onions and carrots and celery. And then we had all this time for about past 20 minutes, maybe more. This chicken has been boiling. If you want to boil it longer, that's up to you. But the next step is to go ahead and take off the cover. I turned it down a little bit so it was simmering. Go ahead and get another plate out. You're going to put your chicken out to cool. So you're going to need some tongs. And you got to go in here, pull out the little pieces of chicken. So you got to be careful so you don't burn yourself or break it apart. So you go in there and you fish them out. Oh, got away from me. Alright, pull that out. Another piece. What did we put in here? 5? Yeah, I believe it was 5. So you want to make sure you get 5 back. Oh, that one was deep. You could boil it with less water. Alright, there, now you got a bunch of chicken breast that has been boiled. And you have the starting of a broth in there. We're going to let this cool. When this cools, get it out of the way. Let that cool. And now we got the pot here. And we slowly are going to take the stuff from this pot and transfer it into this pot. And you don't want it to splash because that's hot. And when it's hot, you're going to get burnt if it splashes. So I'm going to shut off the camera and be careful. Well, maybe I can get an angle on it. Let me see. Oh, I'm going to end up losing the camera, I think. Now, let's see. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. Let's see. Alright. We'll go ahead and transfer the stuff in there. Look at that. No splash, no burn. That's how you do it. Nice and slow. So celery, onions, carrots are now in the soup. Chicken's pulled out. I'm going to add a little bouillon to it. This is that chicken flavor I was talking about. And I don't use it. It's hard as a rock, so I got to jam it out a little bit. But people at my house were saying that my soup is too bland. And I'm like, look at that, your own salt and pepper. So I'm just going to quit people complaining. I'm going to put some good old-fashioned chicken flavor in there. Through a can. That's what they used to do back in the old days, I guess. Add the chicken, bouillon, flavor. Alright, there's what it looks like now. Do a little bit of a stir. I guess we'll use this big metal spoon here. Give it a stir. Now Now this stuff stays in here while the chicken is cooling over there. What we're doing is, oh, pardon the window construction there. We're still working on that. But while the chicken's cooling there, we're cooking this. Again, being efficient with our time. And now you just let this stuff cook. And heat up and get soft is what you're looking for. You want it to get soft. Okay, next step is to take the cooled chicken and we're going to cut that up. And how you do it, you just take it and grab it, peel it off the bone. Just like that. Peel it all off. And then you're just left with the meat. Leave the skin and the bones on the plate, meat on the cutting board.
Coffee.
Basically just cut the chicken into little chunks. And that's 5 pieces of chicken. Chicken thigh I'll cut into chunks. And the bone and skins can be used for coyote catching hunting. Alright, there's the diced up chicken. There's the coyote bait. Here's a bag. I'm going to put the coyote bait in here. And this I'm going to put into the soup. it on a plate.
My password for downstairs is Osteen with a small O.
Put it on a plate so then you can put it into the soup. Don't splash in it. Soup looks like now. Basically, we're gonna simmer this until the carrots get soft, the celery gets soft, and the onions get soft. And the final step will be to add the noodles. Okay, now we gotta test to see if stuff is soft or not. Let's push a carrot up against the side and see if you can smush it. Oh, see how it's smushed? Yeah, everything's soft. One carrot soft, they're all soft. Alright, plus we're going to do a little bit more cooking. So, then what we do, take the orzo noodles and dump them right in there. The noodles right with the soup. How about that? But that surprised you, didn't it? Probably thought you'd cook them separately. Not me. It's not how I roll. Alright, so the noodles are in there. When the noodles are done, you shut her off. And then, in this case, since this is coming to school Tuesday, I'm going to put it outside. Basically freeze it. Alright, we'll check back in a minute. I would have to say that's got to be a 3-gallon pot of soup in there when that's filled up to the top, and we'll add more water to it, of course. Might as well do that right now. A full thing of soup.